I just built a complete brand identity in under 8 hours using AI and Figma. We have a client-ready logo, a color system, typography, and an interactive website mockup. This is the exact workflow that is helping designers charge premium rates while cutting project times in half. So without further ado, let me show you how. So let's go right into it. So in our case, since we don't have an actual client that we're working with, I just went ahead and and I'm asking ChatGPT to simulate the conversation between us as designers with a client for a sustainable tech startup called Verdant. So this is like a simulation. This is the prompt that I came up with ChatGPT. I was going to basically ask if ChatGPT can improve the above prompt, just have a more clear and efficient prompt to use to kickstart our scenario. So let's do that and see what happens. So here's an improved prompt that we can use. You're a brand strategist who just finished a discovery call with the founders of a fictional sustainable tech startup called Verdant. Your job is to generate a realistic and detailed brand brief based on the key insights from that meeting. So I think that this is a very cool prompt that we can use right away to basically simulate a meeting we just had with a client in order to basically kickstart this brand identity job that we have now. So let's click start and see what the outcome is. So brand brief for Verdant. The brand mission: to empower conscious consumers and businesses to reduce their environmental impact through smart, beautifully designed sustainability technology. And our flagship product is a real-time home energy optimizer. Core values: clarity over complexity, actionable change, elegance and function, transparency, regeneration over minimalism. Cool. Target audience personas: conscious homeowner, people that are aged 35 and above. I would probably say even 40 to 60, maybe. I'm not sure. Urban, suburban professionals with families, invested in solar, EVs. Okay, solar and EVs are like a more young adult thing, I would say. They want deeper insight and control over their energy use. They need simplicity, they need to save money, and clarity and impact. Makes sense. And we have the design-driven millennial, 28 to 40, first-time buyers, highly design conscious. They use Apple a lot. They love sustainability. They don't want to sacrifice convenience. Very fitting. And the product and service overview: the Verdant is launching with a smart home energy optimizer, which is basically a compact device and mobile app that tracks energy usage in real time and provides clear behavior-based suggestions to reduce waste, integrates with solar systems, EV chargers, and smart thermostats. I mean, this is kind of a very vague idea of a product. So we might come back to that and fix it a bit for our scenario, because it's not a real client, but it's okay for now. And the tone of voice is warm and intelligent, design literate but not snobby, optimistic but grounded in facts, direct and encouraging. Okay, we need to avoid greenwashing buzzwords, techno-utopian hype, guild-driven messaging. Pretty accurate. And visual direction: Scandinavian design. Cool. Apple meets Patagonia. Okay. Or natural tones blending with soft tech aesthetics. Use of white space, subtle motion, and material textures. Use neutral, calming color palettes. Makes sense. Embrace clean grid layouts with breathing room. Include real photography of diverse everyday homes. Reference nature through form and mood, not cliches. No leaves, globe icons and shit. Yeah, makes sense. No eco-green bullshit in a way that is like overused, of course. No cartoonish icons or overly technical infographics. Makes sense. Don't be too minimalist. Aim for quiet richness. That's a nice phrase to say. So we're going to go ahead and look at competitors in a bit later in the video, because they might be fake as well, which won't be good for us. We might need to find some real competitors in the actual market to see what they do, but it's okay for now. So we have some key brand goals, which are not very relevant to us at the moment, at least, because it's not an actual brand. And strategic constraints, we do not care about those as well. So I think this is a very good start. But before we go ahead and save this as our basically foundation, I want to go back to the product and suggest something that's more specific. Although the above sounds nice, it feels like it's a very vague product that covers a lot. Let's aim for a product MVP that is related to smart home technology and eco-friendliness, and let's not um, uh, well, let's not generalize it a lot, maybe, or something like that. We need a more concrete, viable product. So have a plug-in energy tracker that helps renters and homeowners identify and reduce energy waste from individual appliances without requiring any wiring or smart home integration. Okay, that's fun, actually. So we have a small plug that basically can monitor the energy usage of plugged-in devices. It can connect via Bluetooth or Wi-Fi in your mobile app. Okay. The weird thing is, how do you connect it with your device, with like an electrical device though? That's weird. Sure, but how do you connect the tracker to the device? I mean, we are deviating a lot now, and we can just stick to the example, but we need some realism, you know? So it's a smart plug. It plugs directly into any standard wall outlet. Oh, okay. So our tracker is basically a plug that goes into a plug, and then you plug something else on top of it. Okay. So I guess we can do that. So that's awesome. That's awesome. Compile an update of our brand brief after the changes we've made. Keep it clean, minimal, and clear. Provide it in JSON and PDF forms. We need both JSON and PDF because in some cases, JSON works better. It basically structures data in an efficient way for an LLM to analyze it quickly for you without having to basically, let me move my camera here actually, without having to always repeat yourself. And the PDF is whenever JSON is not available, basically. So we do have the two files now, which is nice. I'm going to go ahead and basically save those two files into our, just create basically a main file for us. And we're going to go ahead and start part two, basically. Before we dive into part two of this process, I quickly created a presentation for you guys in order to give an overview of what the steps that we're going to follow are going to be. So for step one, we basically created the brand brief, which in reality, you can actually create with two ways. And the most realistic one is, of course, getting a client, getting on a call, and following the methods that you use. Maybe we can explore that in a later video in order to basically get all the essential elements that you need to kickstart the task that you have for the brand design. In our case, we will just practice for now. We generated the brief with ChatGPT, as you saw. And what we managed to get from this brief is essential elements like the brand purpose and mission, target audience, vision, voice, keywords that align with the brand, competitive landscape, which was fake, I think. So we have to do research later in the video for that, a quick one, and key differentiators from those competitors. So in a real scenario, if you were to interview a client to get more info about what their idea is in order to formulate the brand identity, I use a tool called Fathom AI, which is basically a free note taker, which is AI powered. So whenever you use an AI note taker tool, it gives you a better chance to have a stronger transcript of the whole call. So if you have the permission to record this call, you can just grab the whole transcript of your call with the client and then use certain ChatGPT prompts, LLM prompts to get a better idea and extract all the necessary info. We can do that in another video. Maybe we can with an actual client. So let me know if that's something that interests you. So now the step two is to basically, since we have a brief, formulate the brand strategy that our brand, Verdant, the test brand, is going to follow. So we need the value prop. What's our competitive advantage? We need to basically solve all of the problems that the audience have. Tone descriptors, what's our voice, and the brand archetypes, the core characteristics of our brand. We can follow a lot of opinions on brand art. I will show you what we're going to follow as our framework to basically figure out what the archetype is later in the video. So we're going to use structured prompts with ChatGPT, which I basically created shortly off camera. And I will tell you how I did that. And we will be saving everything in JSON and PDF just to keep a data bank of everything that we have, because it's going to be very, very beneficial. So off camera, I took some time and create a couple of prompts that can help us in our journey to establish these core branding elements. So I can take it back to step one again. And this is basically another prompt to generate a fictional brand. I think it's more effective than the one that I did live on camera, but the process that I follow for each and every one of the prompts is very simple. I just briefly type out manually whatever I want the GPT to do for me in terms of task, in terms of who it is, etc., etc. And then I just double dash it. I keep some paragraphs and then like, can you please polish the above prompt? And it usually is a very efficient way to clean up your prompts and make them more of a layout that ChatGPT would like. So in our case now, we won't be able to use those types of prompts that require a transcript, as I mentioned before. So since we do not have the transcript for now, let's see if we can follow, let me see, brand tool to visual translation. Okay, that's good. We can basically do the following. Let's go to step 2. All right, this is a bit messy. Let me clean this up and I'll be right back in a few minutes. Awesome, I found it. So step 2, brand strategy prompts. The first prompt that we need to use is the brand voice framework template. So it's important to find the voice and tone of our brand. The client's brief gave us some good idea, but now we have the PDF that we can use off that brief in order for ChatGPT to help us understand what the actual voice and tone that we need to follow is. So let's go back to ChatGPT. Let's open a new chat. Let's paste the prompt. And let's open our Verdant master file here. We can either drop the JSON file, which is basically similar to a PDF, but the structure reminds you of something that you will see in the back end of an application. It's like kind of like coded in a way. This helps LLMs understand context faster. In our case, we can drop this or the JSON. It really doesn't matter with ChatGPT that much. Let's drop the PDF. So in the template here, we can just say see attached PDF. And what ChatGPT is going to develop is the brand archetype, which is what we're going to follow is the 12 Jungian archetypes, which is, I guess, one of the most common ways. I've used it a lot. What am I doing now? What can I find a proper image of that? I think this one is a pretty good one. Yeah. I've used it a lot in workshops whenever I had to deal with branding. Is it the best thing to do? I mean, it gives you a good foundation on how to think for your brand. So you have basically, let's say, heroes that each one of them represent a very specific identity, which ties to certain voice, messaging, intentions, goals that each of those archetypes have. It goes even deeper. This is just a very simple overview, but each of those archetypes have a list of characteristics that define them, basically. So this is the framework that we're going to use in order to basically realize and understand where Verdant belongs. So let's click enter. Before we click enter, we're going to find the tone of voice attributes. So the classic, we are this, but we're not that. So we need to find what we are. The messaging hierarchy, that's the primary message of our brand. Do we have any supporting messages? And what is the proof point for the supporting message? And the voice guidelines, how do we need to basically communicate with our customers, with other businesses, with the world? Are we going to be detailed? Are we going to be short and punchy? We already defined some of those things in the client's call, but this is not a concrete decision yet. We can get even deeper and we can understand the character of the brand even more. The application examples, I mean, that's nice to have. I would keep it. It's a good thing to have. It's an extra to showcase a social media post, for example. If you have the time in the project to do that and add it as an extra in your kit, your brand kit at the end, that's always good. So you have some inspo here already. So ChatGPT is going to format this as a strategic document that could be used by writers, designers, and marketeers. Sounds good. Let's click enter. So here's a comprehensive brand voice framework. The brand archetype that it gave us is the caregiver. So Verdant exists to serve and support. Its core mission is to help people reduce energy waste with ease. And this aligns with the caregiver's desire to protect and nurture others. The secondary influence that we have as an archetype is the one of the creator, which is basically expressing beauty through function. I think this is a very spot on one. I might say that, I mean, I can understand why the caregiver one is above, but the creator is a very spot on one that we can align with a lot, at least in terms of maybe design aesthetic as well. So manifestation in brand behavior, we need to focus on clarity, usability, and emotionally supportive guidance. This is very spot on as well. We need to offer elegant, low friction tools. Yeah, our product is a very low friction tool, I think, so far. We need to have a kind, confident, and visually literate language. The competitor archetypes, these are all fake, so it's fun that ChatGPT is doing. I mean, is it really? OnConnect, is that a company? Oh shit, it is. That's even nicer. I thought that because we had, oh, here's a smart plug as well. Perfect for our inspo. Nice. Okay, that's even better then. I thought that because we gave a fake brand, it was gonna fully go fake. So these are all actual brands, which is nice. So brands like Sense, Nest, and Tado. Let's see, Sense. Modern Greek cuisine. Yeah, nice. I just doxed myself. Does she mean essence? No, there's no way. Smart homes, Nest. Let's see what Nest looks like. Sure, thank you. Nest landing page. I just need to see if the description of the archetype is accurate, but I think I have to log in, which I do not want to do now. Let's go back to our prompt. So it says that Sense, Nest, and Tado are data heavy and very technical and rational, and our other competitors are more performance focused, gamified, and assertive. And we need to be more of an innovative, elite, and status oriented brand. So we definitely don't want to be heavily technical with our users. And I think that we could generally adopt some gamified style, but we definitely don't want to be in the side of those brands. We can definitely take inspo design wise, but not in terms of voice and tone, probably. And when it comes to tone and voice, we need to be warm, but not sentimental, not overly emotional. We do not really have to do that. We need to sound like a helpful, thoughtful friend. That's great. Intelligent, but never intimidating. We are a friendly, smart guy that helps others, basically. Intelligent, but never overcomplicated. That's true. Optimistic, but not naive. We are optimistic, but never idealistic. Sustainability doesn't need to be perfect, just a little smarter every day. I mean, that's a very nice message, actually. Design literate, but not elitist. So we are design literate, but never pretentious. Form and function belong together. Verdant blends both beautifully. Okay. So is this primary message good? Verdant makes sustainable energy habits simple through beautifully designed tools that guide everyday change. I would say this is a very vague one. But the core message that you need to make sustainable energy habits simple is very spot on. I think it's actually a good message, to be honest. We'll see. We'll see what the outcome is in the process. So supporting messages, elegant simplicity meets real-time energy awareness, built for conscious living, encourage behavior change, not guilt, designed to grow with your lifestyle. Okay. Voice guidelines, prefer short, clear sentences, speak plainly but smartly, no technical jargon. Point of view, you for clarity and engagement. Use first person plural we when we speak as a brand. Cool. Grammar, use contractions for warm and then ease. M-dashes are okay. M-dashes are not okay. It's a clear dead giveaway that everything is a ChatGPT slub are not okay, actually. Apart from that, energy insight, design for life. Yeah, these are all things that we can also start building later in our video. I think this is a good start. I'm going to click OK for the M-dash thing. So now, yeah, I need the final documents exported as a PDF and JSON. And this is the first prompt that we finalized and we are going to add to our data bank. Now that we have a good start for our data regarding the Verdant brand, we have the brand brief that our quote-unquote client gave us in the call that we had. And based on this call, we created our framework around our brand archetype, our tone and voice, etc., etc. And we now are able to basically create new ChatGPT chats where we can drop all of these data right away, and we can basically in the next part just go back to our prompt bank here, and we can go to the next one, which is the conversion for AI tool. Cool. This is basically if you want to go deeper and refine the JSON structure even more. In our case, I think that it's fine not to do this actually, or probably should we spend more time? I will just pause. Now that we managed to have a better understanding of what the voice and tone of the brand should be, and basically how Verdant should work and what kind of attributes it should have as a brand, we can go ahead and basically start ideating behind how it should actually look as a brand. So in order to do that, it would be nice to explore our next prompt, which is to basically combine the brand brief that we got and the brand voice framework that we developed in order to start building some key identifiers of how the brand should look, should act, should talk, etc., etc. So the prompt that we're going to use is the following. We need to convert the JSON or PDF data that we got to use it in AI tools. And I will explain what the plan is now. So we need to convert the following brand identity information to a structured JSON format that can be used as input for AI design tools. The structure so far is simple, but there's going to be a back and forth brawl with ChatGPT right now in order to refine this more and maybe elevate this as well. So as I mentioned before, JSON format is very simple. It's structured as something you would see in an HTML file, for example. But as you can see, it's very clear everyday language that is being used. It's not code. And it's very helpful for AI. So let's use this prompt now in our new ChatGPT conversation. Come on. Awesome. Let's grab this. And the reason why we want to create this and have a clear map, let's say, of how the brand kind of looks at the moment is because I want to use Lovable.dev, which is an AI no-code tool, to start crafting UI or maybe a landing page with some fake copy about Verdant, just to see how AI envisions the look and feel based on the data that we gave it. I know this is a very reverse process, but this is why we're doing this video. It's a more unique way to explore how a brand can look like. So we are going to a hi-fi UI to see if it actually makes sense and looks like something that Verdant would look like. So based on the brand documents that we provided, ChatGPT created the following JSON file. The name of the brand is Verdant. The tagline is Energy Insight, Design for Life. That's clean. That's clean, I would say, at least for now. Mission to empower conscious consumers to reduce energy waste with simple, elegant tools that make suitable living feel effortless. Very spot on. So as you can see, We have mission, vision, values, brand positioning, unique value proposition, key differentiators, which is the target audience that we explored. The secondary audiences here, competitive landscapes, and the brand personality, which we just formulated, is here as well. We have visual direction, neutral calming palettes, avoid cliche green schemes. I think that it's good that it's still anything that's related to actual hands-on design, which is colors, typography, grid systems, logos, design principles, are all still pretty vague. I think it's good because it's gonna give the UI the breathing room to be more creative, but still limited because we do not want green cliche schemes. We are still being very clear on the direction. So I think it's good that it looks like that. Have our messaging. I think it's great. I'm not sure if Lovable allows JSON files. So I will say provide this in JSON and PDF as well as .txt, to be honest. I'm not sure what Lovable allows you to paste as documents. So let's have a wide array for this one. So now that we have our files ready to go, let's just save them to our content bank once again. And the next step that we need to follow is to basically formulate a prompt that we can use in Lovable to start creating some sort of UI, either that's a simple landing page or a certain UI model or whatever we're going to see soon. We're going to figure it out soon. So we have the PDF, we're ready to go. So the next part is us going into Lovable and using our fresh brand identity V1, let's say, and see what Lovable is gonna create for us and see if it like matches our aesthetic and vision. I decided before diving deeper and using Lovable right away in an attempt to save a few tokens, because I mean Lovable is a paid software, so we need to be mindful of that. I think it's better if we take some time and refine things like typography, color schemes, animations better with the help of ChatGPT, and then we can ask ChatGPT to form even more accurate, lovable dev prompts that we can feed right away, and we can create a landing page or any other form of UI. So here I pasted the more generic prompt for you guys. If you want to go the route of my client already knows what the landing page should be, let's say. I already have a great understanding of who the voice, messaging, whatever is. So let's build a page. But we can also follow another prompt that we can translate the attributes, basically the data that we have for the past conversations, into more specific visual design elements. So I'm going to follow that, and I'm going to just use a new chat. Actually, I'm not going to use a new chat. I'll just keep one chat to start gathering some sort of memory. I'm just going to paste everything for now. It's whatever. I know it's the same data. Actually, I'm not going to be lazy. Let's stick to adding all the PDFs that we have. And also that text is a brand strategy. Yeah, have everything. So let's see what the outcome of this will be. So we have primary, which is a sage mist, soft natural green. We just said no green, but let's see. In the meantime, I created also a very simple Figma file, quote unquote template kit, where I can share it with you guys, and you can basically start swapping everything here for the brand's identity. We can use this as a starter to basically build, let's say, a slide that contains a brand kit, whatever. I think it's a cool mini template you can have that you can gather your info on Figma for people to look at or for you to use. Of course, it's now blank. I haven't added anything, but I really want to test what these colors are just to see if it really aligns with the no green policy that we got. So I'm just on Figma now. I'm just going to go grab a few squares and see what the colors are. So this is a very, very light minty green. That's the primary color. I'm not sure if that makes any sense. I mean, this is a nice green, but I cannot imagine this over a white background, you know? So are we going full dark mode on this app? That's interesting. Humanist sans serif. is probably something similar to Inter, which is never bad. I would prefer if Humanist is actually a Google font. So let's check it out. It's not. So I want Google fonts. I think they are more reliable, at least for major clients, big brands that they need design systems. I think it's a no-brainer to go for a Google font. So we will definitely switch the fonts here for sure. Grid layout is a 12-column responsive grid. Internally, okay, yeah, we're following pretty correct measurements. Imagery, real photography, natural light, transitions, subtle fade, slow easing transitions. So this is the worth, but not sentimental. So we have 2 color applications. This probably wasn't the greatest prompt to start with, but let's see. So this is a darker one. So I guess it's a case of a white and dark theme situation, because this is a way darker color, and this is probably something that aligns better with a light theme as well. Yeah. Honestly, I like this, but the policy was no green, or the cliche washed green at least. So I'm curious to explore. So the headline here is something that feels more like IBM Sans. Also, it's like, it gives me more options. Okay, I like that. Optimistic but not naive. Let's see this color scheme, see if it makes sense. So we have, okay, we're going, I guess, back to a dark mode. And the secondary here is soft clay. So let's see, soft clay. Okay, this is already way better and goes away from the cliche green no go that we had. So this is currently the option that wins. Of course, we're going to use a Google font, so probably Manrope, which is for sure a Google font. So that would be nice. I love this font. When it comes to spacing and layout, smiling users, sunlight and environment shots, the visual elements in our case should revolve around our flag, our product, basically. So a couple of things. Awesome work. We will work with option number 3, which is basically optimistic but not naive. A couple of changes. First of all, strictly use Google fonts. Google fonts, no more than 2. What else? What else? For visual elements, stick to imagery. Imagery that focuses around our MVP, which is the plug that lets you track the consumption of house appliances and suggest ways to improve eco-friendliness, let's say. Consumption. I mean, we need happy people on images and stuff. We can also use high quality imagery of eco-friendly houses, interiors, people enjoying life, and our tech inside their homes, kind of visuals. So let's hit enter and let's see what the changes are going to be. Color application, creamy neutral background, soft clay accent. Typography choices is the Manrope and Meriwether Sans. I don't remember how Meriwether Sans looks like. Oh, okay. Not bad. And how does Manrope look combined to that? I mean, we have a strict heading font, basically, and a more playful body. I'm not mad at it. I think it's a good combo. We saw the colors. Have they changed since before? Let me check. So, no, they haven't. Cool. That's nice. I would say that the creaminess is not very visible in this one. I think we should probably tone this down a bit. There's a tool that I like a lot on Figma called Color Levels Generator, which basically gives you the shades of the color that you input here. And then you can just instantly save this as a local color palette as well. So if our current creamy white that ChatGPT suggests is basically the 500 value, the next value is kind of big. It gets very dark. So I would say that we need at least slightly something that's slightly creamier. Let's say, is that color? Oh, sorry, my microphone. I had a technical issue. My microphone got caught up in a chain that I'm wearing. So I'm back. I'm sure that this is a good color. I'm just probably overthinking it, I guess. Okay, let's stick to it for now. Let's see what Lovable can do about it. I'll keep it for now. Let's give it a go. So we have Manrope, Meriwether Sons. Text hierarchy looks good, at least for websites. It's probably a bit small when it comes to their headings, but it's whatever for now. We need spacious, friendly, optimistic layouts. Cool. 12 column, 64 pixel outer margins. Good padding, I would say. I usually put it to 64 or 80. Component spacing looks good. We need the hero, features, benefits, testimonials. So we have high resolution photography of our product, of warm interior shots, of people interacting with our appliances, and lifestyle moments. And we don't need stocky and abstract illustrations. That's true. I think we're going well in terms of how we envision this brand. Download, yeah, I think we're ready. I think I like the overall look that it gave us. I'm still a bit skeptical about the color combo, but this is something that we can explore very quickly and iterate and test fast with ChatGPT. So I'm not really worried about it. In our case, since we have a high contrast theme that works well on dark mode, it's gonna look okay whatever the generation of the AI is. So we can just swap colors fast once we have a foundation, basically. So I'm cool with that. Let's export as PDF, JSON, TXT, and I think we're ready to start dropping some prompts inside Lovable. And I suggest we build a simple landing page to see how everything works and looks together, and if actually AI made a good job replicating our style that we want to see. So let's save this, and we will go straight to Lovable and start the process of creating some UI. Now, the next step is to ask ChatGPT to craft prompts that could be efficient with lovable.dev in order to see what the first look of a Verdant landing page can look like. In our case, we will not focus on logos still. So we just ask ChatGPT to use one of our fonts to craft a quick logo to add to our navbar or wherever. And it basically needs to follow our visual style and brand brief to the T. But I will specify that I will be dropping extra info on our AI no-code tool either way. So just stick to providing a good description of the UI that we want to build, basically, which is in our case, a landing page. So I will craft this prompt in a new page, as you see, and I will ask ChatGPT to polish it, and then I will drop it back again to our main convo with ChatGPT about Verdant. That's it. So I'll be back in like 1 minute. So the prompt that I quickly typed is the following. Based on the visual hierarchy and brand brief that I gave you, craft a lovable.dev prompt that I can use in order to build a simple landing page for the brand Verdant. Things to keep in mind, we will use one of the brand's fonts to craft a quick text logo, so do not focus on logo. Keep the visual identity in mind at all times, do not deviate from it. And I want to build a simple landing page that features the product, which is the plug, a few testimonials, a clean hero page, and 2-3 extra pages for our landing page. Too many page words. So that's why I just go ahead and be like, can you polish the above prompt, please? And now we can. Oh, cool. It took it super literally. So I'll just go ahead and create a new chat and grab this and put it above just to understand that the following is a prompt that I want to polish. Amazing. This can happen. So you just change the order of your command to ChatGPT, let's say. So we have the prompt based on the visual identity. Help me craft a simple, elegant landing page. Requirements, strictly adhere to Verdant's visual identity, clean visual appearing hero section, a product showcase. Yep, this is perfect. So let's go back to the main convo. Let's drop it here. And we will just change this part. We'll basically add, I need a proper and efficient prompt that we can use inside Lovable.dev to assist us with building the landing page. This can give us, I think, a pretty good prompt that we can use. So let's open Lovable. I know that this is a paid tool. I'm pretty sure that it has some tokens that you can use for free. So I probably suggest it. I like using it more than tools like Bolt.new. I think it's, at least for now, better in my opinion. So yeah, I would suggest you at least getting the most basic plan that they have to be able to do some adjustments here and there. It's not optional. You can use other ways to build UIs, but the flow that I'm going to follow for this video is Lovable. And then we might use Windsurf and tweak the landing page more, but that might probably not be necessary for this specific video at least. So the Lovable prompt that we will be using probably is the following. Let me paste it here to have a better view of it. So you're designing a minimal, elegant landing page for a sustainability-focused brand called Verdant. Follow the existing visual identity. Amazing. It gives us, whoops, I zoomed in. It gives us brand tone, use a custom logo, hero section. Yep, call to action, product showcase. Amazing. Testimonials, feature highlights, about section, FAQs. The interaction and motion guidelines, I'm not sure if Lovable is gonna follow that to the T, but it's whatever. We're just gonna add that for now. Outputs to include layout structure. Yeah, that's cool. Amazing. So I'm just gonna go ahead and drop all the PDF files that we have for Verdant. So those 4. Oh, it's invalid. So they only allow JPEGs, web. Jesus, these are weird ones. Okay, we can probably grab a couple of screenshots of the visual identity file and the brand voice, and I'll just paste them as screenshots, basically. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that for a few seconds, and I'll be back. I took a couple of screenshots so that Lovable can have the best idea possible on what we want to create. So without further ado, let's just hit enter. And I believe that we're going to have a good foundation that we can work on and refine alongside Lovable. And the more we refine it, we will probably be able to have a good idea of how the aesthetic can look like. And I think we're probably going to love it. So I'll give it a few seconds and I'll be back whenever we have the first generation. While the page is loading, I think it's a good point in our video to give us an overview of where we are at. So we are now in UI and Lovable.dev part of the video, where we are now creating the prompts to capture the brand essence. We are doing this by crafting a landing page with Lovable. And we are waiting for a generated design to start doing some adjustments and edits. And we will analyze the results, the color palettes, how the layout structure is, how typography works, in order to see if it actually can work in our favor and elevate this aesthetic and use it to our actual branding design or not. So this is where we are at. Minutes instead of days. That's very accurate. It's still morning, as you can see in the screen recording. Probably we'll go to the gym in a bit, but the whole idea that it can be done in a day is still here. It's very doable. So let's see if Lovable. Yep, we have a landing page. Looks kind of wacky, to be honest. This background is crazy, but let's see what's going on. Let's minimize myself. Awesome. Verdant, product, features, about, and a get started button. So track smarter, live cleaner. Verdant makes sustainable energy habits simple through beautifully designed tools. Track smarter, live cleaner. The Verdant plug. Oh, it's a very cute representation of the plug, to be honest, at least for now. I'm not mad at it at all. Maybe the layout can be a bit cleaner and more centered, or more attention to be given to that. I love the testimonials. They're very clean. Have a couple of issues with the photos. That's whatever. Why Verdant? Very cool animations, very simple. Our mission is very clean as well. I see some M-dashes. We can always refine that later. A couple of FAQs, which are super clean. I'm very happy with how it looks for starters. A couple of pointers. I'm not seeing our primary color that much, to be honest, but only in elements like icons. Am I mad at it? No. Or like hover over effects or our button. I'm not mad at it. I, of course, hate the hero image. It's definitely going to be changed or reimagined. But everything else is very cool for starters. I would definitely ask Lovable, at least for now, to remove the image that is located to our hero. We will revisit that later. Apart from that, I would love to see ways in which we can incorporate our primary color more, instead of just using it in icons, design, hover over effects, graphics, etc. I would love to see more of our primary color. Apart from that, make sure all avatar images are loading properly, which is whatever, but we can add that. I see no footer, which kind of sucks. So let's add a footer section as well. Make it distinct from the rest of the landing page. Let's add some sort of a unique identifier just to see how Lovable can react to that, and it can probably give us add more elements to it. So I'm just throwing something unique as a challenge to see how it's going to look like. Let's give it some time to generate. And while it generates, I can talk about why am I doing all this? Why am I starting to basically create videos on YouTube? I've been a graphic designer for way too many years now, and I really fell in love with AI. So I thought it would be a nice idea to share how I currently work with AI and what my workflows are, how I use it smartly and efficiently to help me out, especially whenever there's no time. And if you're a freelance designer, you can definitely relate to that. I also started my journey having an AI community in school, which is very fun. I can definitely link that below just to get an idea. But what I really want to do is connect with all of you guys that are designers, graphic designers, branding designers, and really get to know more about how do you want to use AI in order to make your life easier, make you a better designer, and overall more complete designer with a new set of skills that you can showcase quickly. So yeah, I really want to see how do you want to use AI, and I can definitely share more of how I build things, and I can definitely help you out with that. So definitely book a call. Let's discover what you guys want, because I really, really want to create courses around solving designers' problems and basically utilize AI in the best way possible, because shading it and completely removing it from the current workflow that you have as a designer is a very bad move, in my opinion. So I can't wait to hear anybody's thoughts, and I will always be active in the comments as well. So yeah, let's do this. As you can see, Lovable did a great job at refining our UI by a lot, and it really incorporated the primary color, which is very nice in our case. And as you can see, what happened is basically now the black color is used as a hover over, which is sick. I really like this. The hero is way cleaner now, which I love. Sarah doesn't really want to load as an image, which whatever. I like how the testimonials turned out. Our mission is kind of heavy in text, so we definitely need to revisit that later, probably, because it's a branding thing, so it looks heavy and I wouldn't like that as a client. The FAQs are kind of similar as before, probably a bit cleaner. And here's our distinct footer, which gives us a nice idea of how everything looks in dark mode as well, which can take us to our next prompt, which can be, let's introduce a dark theme to our landing page, or maybe to our design system as well, and add a toggle at the top right of the screen. Make sure that all contrast ratios between background, foreground, text, and design elements is always positive. Use our current color scheme and how you utilized it as the foundation to develop the dark light theme. So this is the manual prompt that I just typed. Let me drop this in the temporary chat. Polish the following prompt. I just love doing it because it just gives me confidence that whatever I'm typing kind of makes more sense. So it's not always like that, but generally whenever I do it this way, it works good. Let's reduce the dark theme, ensure that concentration, yeah, use our existing color scheme as a foundation. I think it's pretty correct. So let's see what happens when I do that. I want to explore the dark light theme scenario because I like how the footer looks in terms of how easy it is on the eyes to read as well. I kind of feel that this is not a good contrast ratio still, this clay color, or maybe the white typography font makes me feel that way. We can explore that with a simpler prompt here in Lovable and just ask for a strict positive only contrast ratio, just like I did. So I'm hoping that it can probably update this a bit and gives us a more correct idea on colors and contrast and visibility. But this is a nice preview so far, and I want to test how responsive it is as well. For example, let's add it's not responsive at all. Or it tries its best to be responsive. It is. No, I'm sure. I'm sorry, it is. It's perfectly responsive, actually. That's perfect. Yeah. Yep. Everything works nicely. Sick. Okay. You don't even have to worry about it. I think I didn't even mention anything about responsiveness in my prompt, I'm pretty sure. So it's pretty sick that it was that easy to do it by itself. I'll be back in a few seconds whenever we have an update. My idea around building the dark theme kind of worked, but not really, because some sections really adopted to it, some others didn't. And whenever you switch to light and dark, you can see that the sections are still untouched. So I think this is solvable. Great work on the theme so far. Number one, make sure that all sections of the landing page are adapting to the light dark theme switch. There are a few sections currently that remain unchanged, despite no matter the theme. Apart from that, examine all color schemes and provide positive contrast ratios, especially in elements like our buttons. Our current white text font over the clay background is a bit unreadable, at least in my eyes, but I don't think that this contrast score is positive. It must be borderline positive, honestly. I see nothing. Also, let's ensure that the mission statement is punchier, shorter, and aligns more with the brand's values and narrative. Sure. I butchered the word narrative, but it's okay. I think this is a good start to start fixing the theme problems. And after that, I think we can have a good idea of a very basic brand system. But let's see. We'll probably have to do a bit more chatting with Lovable just to explore more ideas around how the brand can look. But this is a good start so far. I really love how the dark mode looks, to be honest. I love those grays. I mean, those kind of like dark clay themes. They really deviate a lot from the green, cliche, eco-friendly scheme, but they still feel very calming. I don't know. I feel nice when I see these colors. So I think we are in a very good position. So let's give it a few seconds to see what the updates are going to be. I'm very, very happy with the outcome that Lovable gave me because as you can see, the buttons are now changed again and the hover over became this clay white combo, which is still unreadable, but we can leave it for now because our main buttons are cool and this is all that matters. We're not here to build any concrete UI system. We're focusing on the branding. So I love how everything looks so far. Our mission statement is more condensed now, and I love the whole feeling and the whole animation that is smooth, gentle. It's not really annoying at all. And yeah, everything flows nicely. So I will just go ahead and open a preview of this website. And I'm just going to grab the whole screenshot of it. So let's go for rolling capture. Let's just try and grab the whole thing. And what I'm going to do is basically ask ChatGPT to suggest how we can improve these sections in order to bring more design elements out in order to see a more elevated brand identity as well through these elements. And then we can slowly start building stuff like how our logo should look like, how our main palette should look like, and all those things. So let's drop this here. And I'm just going to manually type something like, this is what Lovable gave us. Please examine all sections. So let me type this and I'll be back. So what I typed is the following. This is what Lovable gave us. Please examine all sections of the landing page and suggest improvements. The goal is to see more design elements that have a better understanding of how the final branding can look like. Each improvement should be its own Lovable dev prompt. And I would also add that we should not overbloat our landing page. We need efficient, correct, refined UI refinements with minimal extra design elements added. And of course, always stick to the current brand identity. So let's elevate this prompt a bit, improve the following prompt, and let's add this back to ChatGPT. Amazing. And let's see what kind of improvements ChatGPT can suggest. So what's working well? Add subtle textures, introduce very soft motion, slight contrast tweak, accurate. Product showcase, user real lifestyle photos, add sublock shadow, cool, tight spacing. Yep. We need more tight spacing and layout for sure. Improve visual consistency in the testimonials, add the soft background gradient. I don't want gradients. Consider using eroded avatar images. Yep. Why Verdant? Nice. Let's not use gradients at all. Provide the prompts in their updated form again. And let's start one by one, fixing a few things here. I agree with the hero section. It looks poor because we removed the image, and we can for now add some sort of texture as ChatGPT suggests. A paper or a subtle linen texture. I would honestly not do that. I don't like this as a suggestion. Does that? Yeah, it has a cool animation. I wouldn't touch hero for now. I wouldn't touch it. We will probably add some sort of a cool photoshopped plug in the background kind of thing. So let's not touch this for now. We can definitely fix this section. So let's see what ChatGPT says here. Add soft shadows to feature blocks. Yep. Reduce the horizontal space. Yeah, there's too much space. Text gets all immediately ignored. I agree. And replace illustrations with photos showing the Verdant plugin use. Yeah, we can add some placeholder images, I guess. It would be better. So we can fix that for sure. Let's see what the updates are. That was a pretty lazy job, but that's okay. We can click on the edit tool here and grab the whole section and ask specifically to basically instead of the two, uh, or maybe, yeah, instead of the two image placeholders, add one image placeholder and introduce a two column layout in order for text to be more dominant and visible. Right now it's on the far left, which doesn't really help us. The update is not bad, but I feel like we can follow a vertical stack approach so that we can have better visibility, to be honest. I mean, again, these are very minor fixes, but I just want to have a clean look before I dive deeper into Figma. So let's introduce a vertical stack approach so that the image can be displayed better and we do not have a lot of empty, awkward, oh shit. Okay, cool. Awkward real estate on the left side, basically. Let's go back and grab this again. Oh, edit. Let's actually, come on, stop loading, bro. Awesome. Is it gonna work or is it still dizzy? I'm not sure. Oh, it works. Cool. I'll be back in a few. A couple of cool things happened. First of all, the stacking now is way better. So we are keeping it like that. And Sarah became Marcus, which is cool. It's whatever. We don't really care about it. Anything else I like for now. So I'm not mad at it. I will just ask Lovable to examine the landing page and refine the UI in areas where there is branding misalignment or negative contrast ratios, etc. Ratios, etc. So let's polish this prompt, improve the following. And I want to just see if Lovable can bring and elevate this UI even more to give us a better understanding of how we can work with this as a foundation. Let's click on it and let's see what the updates are going to be. If they suck, we can always hit on restore on the previous chat generation from Lovable, and we will. I feel very satisfied with Lovable's results because it really did refine areas and they didn't butcher it. So that's awesome. They added gradients is whatever for now. I don't really care. I just didn't want the gradients to be the main attraction because that's what AI loves to do. FAQ got a little upgrade, which I like. I'm very satisfied with that. Let's see what ChatGPT suggested for the other areas. Use gradients, keep the background solid. Let's see the size of the avatars. Oh, it's really cool. It's really cool. I would say that, I mean, we can try this. We can try and see if the testimonials can be fixed. I kind of don't like the card thing, but I get it because I asked for my primary color to be more dominant. Let's see if I just follow ChatGPT's idea and suggestion about improving it can make it look better. But I won't waste any more time on this. I will probably just ask for ChatGPT for maybe a secondary page where we showcase some basic UI elements, just so that I can use them also as my foundation to start building some brand kits or a presentation, etc., etc. I kind of like this more than the previous one, so it's good that we did this. Let's see what it says for the other ones. I'm just gonna follow it because I like the ideas that it provides so far. Reduce vertical spacing, add the scroll triggered animations, cool, more animations, more liveliness to our website, and add the short intro. Cool, more cool ideas. Yeah, I'll just go ahead and click that as well. I don't really like our mission page at all. It takes so much space for basically nothing. So we can maybe introduce a 2-column layout and add some sort of media to the right in this case. That would be nice, I guess. What does ChatGPT say? Add the soft horizontal line divider, darken the mission paragraph. Sure, yeah, we can use that as a base and add our idea. Cool. This is so fun. Way more cool to interact with them before. GG. I love that. So let's go to About section and also say, let's introduce a 2-column layout. Text stays on the right. Add the placeholder image to the text on the left, image on the right. GG's. Let's see what happens here now. The cool thing about Lovable is that you can also use this edit tool to target specific sections. For example, let's say that I want to improve the padding on this section. You can see that you have a pretty basic edit capabilities, fixing the margin, the padding, the backgrounds, completely removing it, or targeting it to specifically chat with Lovable about it. In our case, I will just reduce the padding to 80, and I will do that for every single one, just to keep a more a more condensed view, let's say, because everything was way more spaced apart so far. It's not bad specifically, but too much scrolling is kind of annoying sometimes. So I'm gonna click save for those manual edits. And I will go back to ChatGPT and improve the FAQ section now. In FAQ, what I would love to see is more of our prominent color and more hover over effects. So let's introduce our primary color here more and add shadow hover over effects that align with our overall animation approach to our landing page. That's a nice sentence. Let's see the results. So the FAQ page looks amazing. And the primary color introduction was on this arrow only. So I just asked Lovable to introduce it to the heading, which is what just happened right now. I think that's enough for the primary color uses here. And so far, what I'm getting from this whole experiment and exercise is that I love how those three colors work together for our terracotta color, the black, the grays, and the white. Same with dark mode as well. So this is a nice start to understanding how the brand will look like. For example, this terracotta color will definitely look sick. Imagine an actual plug, which is an actual product, an actual brand called Verdant, and they come up with like a charger that's in terracotta color, which is like full-on matte, and a full-on matte black and matte white charger. And we have like a hero section here with those three chargers lined in like a product shot. I mean, it looks cool. So I think we did an amazing job so far. So the next steps are to basically keep on improving this a bit. I will do some off-camera work for like a few minutes only, just to get a bigger idea on how we can combine more elements. I will probably just ask, maybe I can do this on camera actually. I can ask now for a secondary page where we showcase a few imaginary UI elements and components, just to get an idea of how we can start building our Figma UI file as well and start presenting everything in a more cohesive way that aligns with the brand that we're trying to build. As far as the idea that I was telling about the chargers, we can do this by using mockups or by using Midjourney to generate some sort of log image that we can manipulate with Photoshop afterwards. So there's a lot of ways you can do that. I'm going to craft a manual prompt that explains what I said about the components, and I'll be back to see what we can build with this quote-unquote mini brand system that we are developing right now. So see you in a few seconds. Let's create a new secondary page called Components. This page will serve as a space to build and showcase UI demo mockups that incorporate our current design system and branding elements. So we're waiting for some cool prompts from ChatGPT. Let's see. Create a clean secondary page called Components, a design system demo, page headers, button variants, card examples, form elements, typography scale, grid and layout demos. I will probably leave grid and layout demos out. leave grid and layout out. I know it's a core component, but we are now going for a simple brand identity kit. We're not here to design any actual UI, so we don't need a grid right away. And it's not a one-man job. So let's leave this behind to make the page also simpler to use and interact with. I like the form elements. They sound boring. Form elements sound boring. Introduce a more unique component based on our data about the brand for this one. And I'm sorry. And then cards, buttons, and a page. I mean, I don't need a page header. We don't need a page header per se, just the title components, I guess, for the page. And of course, add this secondary page to our navbar as well. So craft the updated prompt, please. Nice. Components, use the exact styles, button variants, card types, new components, energy usage breakdown. That's gonna be interesting. If actually Lovable pulls it off, that's gonna be fine. And very interesting to see. Cool. We have our basic prompt. Let's drop this here. In some cases, if you are stressed out that this can break, as I said, you can always click on a previous conversation and hit on the restore button. But if you also want to triple check, you can go to settings and remix your project, which will basically create a duplicate of it. So now you have whatever version of the project you've left off before you hit remix. And we are now going to work on a new version that is not going to affect the first one. It's good if you are worried about breaking stuff or if you want a couple of versions of something. It's a pretty cool system to use. So let's hit enter and I'll be back to see if the updates and we are back after the update that we asked Lovable to do, which was to create the components page. And as you can see, it exists here in the navbar. We have button variants. I see some spacing issues and of course, not that great of a button system so far. We see card types. They look cool. The energy usage breakdown element, which looks nice in my opinion. Typography showcase, which looks perfect for what we want. And of course, everything is also adjustable for our dark theme. And I'm going to say that I'm biased and I love dark modes more. And I think it looks clean in our case, especially this dashboard. And I love how terracotta interacts with grays, with whites, with the dark background. So GG so far. I'm very satisfied. So we have a very basic design system here. I'm just going to give a couple of, let me move my camera. I'm just going to give a couple of tries here and fix the current state of the button system that we have because it looks kind of weird. For some reason, it doesn't let me choose stuff. I'm just going to reload real quick. Let me see. Let's go to components and let's choose our buttons. Amazing. Classic. Come on, man. Cool. Let's choose our bot. Dude, why are you doing this to me? Is it gonna work? There seems to be a bug and I cannot actively choose the button system. But let's just type out, let's refine the button design system that we use, improve the secondary button variants and introduce more variety to them. Also add primary, secondary, tertiary, ghost buttons, link, and probably outline. Ensure proper and positive contrast ratios, of course, and showcase them in an elegant way on the components page. I think it's a good prompt. I don't have to refine it. I just need a better understanding of the button design system. And that also gives us a chance to see how certain shades of our palette interact with each other, which is always beneficial. Let's hit enter and see if there's going to be any improvements in our button design system. And the next steps are probably going to involve us showing you how to transfer this into Figma and how we can use all of those elements that we generated, as well as a website at the later stage, the whole brand identity that we're trying to build in under 24 hours, basically. These are incredibly nice buttons. I actually love how they are laid out. I'm very impressed. It also added the destructive one. We need like warnings, success ones, whatever. But I'm sorry. But also you can see that the red color interacts well with everything else, even in dark mode, which is impressive. This is just one prompt. It used to be way more difficult. Am I positive that all of the contrast ranges are positive? For dark mode, I would say yes. I wouldn't have to test it further. For professional actual client, I would definitely test these areas. This kind of feels like borderline positive to me. Also, this is weird. And of course, the hover over, it kind of feels better now, actually. Yeah, I think that I wouldn't change this. This looks good now. It used to look way more light. So we're in a great stage, I would say. Amazing. This is amazing. So the next step is basically us using a tool that can help us transfer the website that we've just built, both light and dark modes, all of the pages, into a Figma file that will be our master file for Verdant. And then the next steps will be to actually come up with a logo. When it comes to logos, everybody's process is different. So I'm not here to tell you that you can have a logo ready in an hour. I will try my best to speedrun a logo design and have it ready in an hour by using ChatGPT, Midjourney, actual traditional pages like, I don't know, Pinterest or Arena to find some inspo. And I will probably either do a speed run of it or I will just pop out in certain moments to explain stuff. But this is the process that I would follow. I would just chat with ChatGPT, see a couple of references. I would probably go with a monogram logo, the letter V, and an elegant Verdansk type that comes from our primary font. Nothing more than that. So that's the process that I will follow. And after that, as you can see, as you saw before, I had a very simple template here for our branding. What we can do is either ask even Lovable to generate one for us, or we can just quickly use this one as well. We'll see. It's an experiment for me as well. So yeah, this is the new step that we're going to follow. So we're back, and basically I spent about 30 minutes scouting websites like Arena, Pinterest, and all of those websites in order to find some good inspo for what I want the logo to look like. So I basically just made a 16:9 mood board. It's not even filled up fully. The idea here is, since we are talking about a tech brand and we're going to have an actual physical product, I wouldn't want to see a maximalist design and go crazy with the logo. So focusing on a stylized font mark, letter V for Verdant, and then using our main primary font as the font mark, having a monogram V as our logo would be nice. So I basically gathered some, as you can see, vintage logos that have the letter V inside, or they look minimal, or they have some sort of flow that matches our aesthetic and what the brand represents. V-Star, Victorine. I mean, I love vintage tech logos, so it's definitely a very cool sort of inspiration. You can see that I've also added pure font marks that just have stylized elements, which is a fun thing to do. And it's very easy to experiment with that in Illustrator as well. As you can see, more modern ones with less stylization, simpler, thinner ones, more unique and weird ones, playing with gradients as well. So we have a good visual inspiration so far. And then I basically found, I guess it's probably a real brand, I'm not sure, because building sounds too generic. but I like how it looks in terms of what I want Verdant to look like. Probably letter shape V here as our monogram, and then a good balanced style of our font. So what I'm gonna do is basically save those two mood boards as images, and I'm just firstly gonna drop them inside ChatGPT on our existing conversation and just ask for any good Midjourney prompts that we can use so that we can start experimenting with a few ideas that Midjourney can bring to life. And then we can basically go ahead and refine those ideas in whatever way you prefer as a designer. I will just use Illustrator to refine the generation or the combination of generations that we'll get from Midjourney. I will probably use ChatGPT as well. And yeah, this is what we're going to do. So I'm going to save those files, prepare a draft sentence that we can polish, and I'll be back. This is what I typed. Based on the two mood boards I attached, I want you to provide me with efficient and high quality prompts tailored to Midjourney, the image generation tool, in order to craft a logo for Verdant that would consist of the monogram stylized letter V and a font mark word for Verdant in our primary font. Make sure that you follow our current branding aesthetic and design system that we use for Verdant so that the Midjourney image generations are accurate. I'll just grab this, go to our temporary chat, improve the following prompt, and we will paste it. Oh, that's unfortunate, but it's okay. Let's just open a new one because it expired. Cool. Based on the two attached mood boards, stylized monogram V. Yeah, I think it looks good. So let's grab our two mood boards here. Oh, I haven't saved them. That's weird. Let's grab them. Yep, save. Sweet. And we have them here. So let's see what ChatGPT can suggest for us. Here we have a couple of generations from Midjourney that we can test right away. For example, minimal geometric V monogram stylized logo mark for a modern eco-tech brand designed for smart home energy device company. I think it looks good. I'm not sure about the double dash logo element. I'm not sure if it exists or if I'm lacking of new updates on Midjourney. I don't know. I'll just try and see if it works, but I'm not sure. Yeah, I mean, there are no values like that. So we can basically clean this up a bit as a prompt. And we can also start adding some commas. And let's see. Let's clean it up a little bit more. No text. Oh, no. The double dash no is something that we need. And this is also a prompt and not a value. So this is good. We don't need the version stuff. So now what I usually do is double dash S for style. I usually follow a low style for starters just to get an idea of how it's going to look. So I'm going to go for something like 100. It's from 0 to 1,000 or 999, I guess. And a double dash AR for aspect ratio, which I'm going to keep square, so 1 by 1. And then if you are in a pro account, you can also double dash repeat and basically add the number of how many times you want the above prompt to be generated immediately. I think I can handle 20 repetitions. We had an error with okay, because it's gonna occur a lot. I will just ask ChatGPT, please refine the prompts so that can be used properly inside Midjourney. Use the double dash elements correctly or not at all. I would prefer if you just stick to the prompts. I would prefer to control the values because it's going to take us a lot of time to clean up messy prompts. So this is already better and we can exercise the double dash repeat that I was talking about. So once again, our style value is 100. Our aspect ratio is a square. And I want to repeat this, let's just say 10 times instead of 20 to save some tokens. And let's give it a few seconds to see if our generations are satisfying enough to give us maybe a couple of more elements to our mood board. I wouldn't say that I'm impressed right away because it was only our first prompt, but right off the bat, I really like the fact that we have a lot of visual balance and we do not have annoying generations that do not make sense. For example, this one is a good addition to our mood board for sure, because I love the lines. I don't really enjoy the fact that it looks ragged, but if you clean this up and make this sharp, I think it's a good start to our idea about a monogram V, for example. A couple of others that make sense, probably not much. So let's just try the next one. Architectural V monogram designed with modular geometry and Bauhaus influence. Okay, let's see. I'm intrigued. Just follow the same route, AR of a square, and repeat this 10 times. I believe that it got pretty wild here. I could see these inside Verdant's office as art deco, but never in a logo. Probably the line thing messed it up. So yeah, just a bad prompt. It's okay. Let's go with the next one, mid-century industrial style V. That would be interesting because we were talking about vintage tech logos. Oh, actually, this is also cool. It kind of looks like a heart, but I think it fits our theme of eco-friendliness. And it's also sharp enough to just look techy and cool, I guess. So I'm just going to save this as a shape because I find it kind of interesting. So let's save this as well next to our other one. Awesome. Let's try the new one. I will probably start, once we are done with the prompts, trying even lower values in terms of style. And if they are getting sloppier, I'll just try once again with a little bit of a higher style to see if it's going to be better. And then we'll just try a few other techniques, probably, if we don't find a couple of winner logo ideas. So let's go for a 10 of repetitions. I would probably say that a couple of fun design elements have been generated, like this V, for example, or something like this is even cool as an overlay. I could see this somewhere, or this one is also cool for something else. This is also cool as a design element, and it's so balanced that it's actually crazy. But you can just crop this and duplicate this as well, probably. But they don't really fit what we need. And it's also so narrow that if you just zoom this out, there's no chance that you will see a fully good logo. So let's go with the next one. Symbol first V, mark with calm utility. Okay. AI started to get a bit weird in terms of descriptions, but it's okay. It's just our first literal chat with ChatGPT. So let's go with the 1:1 ratio and let's repeat this 10 times. No, this was a completely bad prompt. I like this as an idea, but it's a stylized logo which is not suitable for many occasions. And I'm not really sure how to translate this, especially this area, in vector. You probably have to offset this, cut a little bit of this area. And it's kind of an overused logo now that I see it. But again, that's a design element. It's fun. It's a fun generation. So let's go with the mono style weight V, probably something that's more techy, monospaced. So S100, aspect ratio 1:1, and let's repeat this 10 times. This was super simplistic, which is kind of annoying because I'm just seeing a couple of sans serif V's, so pretty annoying, I would say. But this brings me to a nice chance to showcase chaos as well, which basically allows Midjourney to bring a little bit of twistiness to your prompt and be more creative. So I'm gonna go for a high value because everything that I see is so similar. I'm just gonna go and hit a 20 here. Let's repeat this for 5 times now. And let's keep the style. I will probably improve this because the more that I'm gonna lower it in this specific prompt, it's gonna get worse and worse and simpler and simpler. So I'm just gonna go for a 150. I guess it sounds good. Let's see if chaos can bring a little bit of more creativity to this prompt. So right off the bat, a couple of generations became surely more creative. This kind of sounds nice. It kind of looks nice because this arrow that's pointing down can really be translated to something like plugging in something or electric currency. I don't know how it is in English, but you get the idea. So electric current, I guess. But I guess it's a good reference. We can save this. I'm not the biggest fan of it, but it might trigger AI and gives us some better ideas down the line. So now that chaos kind of works, I'll just go back to some previous generations that I liked. For example, I think that which bats was the greatest in terms of generations? I think the first one. Let's see. Probably I'm just gonna grab logos like, where was it? This one? I was gonna drop it as a style reference. Amazing. I'm just gonna explain shortly. Let's just drop the other one that I liked as well. Where are you? Here you are. Let's just drop this as a style reference as well. And also, let's add this one because stylistically is close to what we want. And also for the new ones, let's just drop this one. So now I think that our last logo and our first logo are the coolest ones so far, and they bring good results. So I'll just try something that I just thought about. Since those do provide the best results, combine them into one. I don't know. It's just an experiment. It will be fun to see if it can lead to something better. So I want to weigh geometric V monogram design for smart home energy product. Flat vector style, sharp stroke weight. It feels good to me. So let's just drop this. And now since we have style references, what we're going to do is basically keep the style to 150 because I think it works better. A 1-to-1 aspect ratio. And now, since we have a style reference, we need a certain style weight. So how much should the Midjourney get influenced by, in our case, the 4 images that we have added? So we need a style weight between a 0 and 1,000. In our case, I want Midjourney to follow those styles quite a lot. So I'll just start with something like, I don't know, probably 780, and then repeat this for 5 times just to get an idea of if this prompt even makes sense working with a lot. So let's just try probably removing those last 2 and also reducing the style weight a bit and also adding a little bit of chaos to the mix just to see if that can trigger some better generations. I think that Midjourney overcomplicates the logo so far. So what I'm gonna do is grab a few of my ideas from the mood board and paste them as visual references just to help Midjourney understand the idea a little bit more. So I'm just gonna grab the different shapes and styles that I like, and I'm just gonna drop them as style references here. And I will probably also simplify the prompt a bit. Simplify the prompt and focus on a logo generation that is clean, symmetrical, balanced and adheres to the mood boards I have attached. This is a very bland Midjourney prompt, but it might actually work. Let's aim for a bigger balance now. Let's aim for, again, 115 style. Let's see. I will just play with it a bit, with the style as well. And let's repeat for 10 times. As you can see, it's already a bit more creative, which I like. For example, this is a good idea of a logo. If we remove, for example, this weird worm, it kind of looks like a phase logo. I don't know, but you get the point. So I'm just going to invest a couple of minutes doing the same process, basically combining generations with each other, lowering style weights, lowering stylization weights, or improving them, increasing them, so on and so forth. And probably in the next 10 minutes, we can have a series of good generations that I can showcase with you. And I will also show you the history of how I got there. But it's probably going to take like 15 minutes to find something that's golden and that can help us in our logo. So let's see how it goes. I admit I have gotten a bit carried away with Midjourney, but it was for a good reason. I took some time to first upgrade my personal profile to the version 7, which really, really improved every single image generation. So as you can see in this series of images that I created, there's literally so much inspo that you can take so that you can craft your logo. And what I'm slowly realizing with tools like Midjourney is that it's better to basically aim for a visual reference instead of something that's more strict and vector-like, because I feel like Midjourney still kind of struggles to generate proper logos. But whenever you aim for this kind of feel, which is more grainy, sketch-like, it really shines and it really gives you cool shapes that you can work with. For example, this is a nice logo. This is a nice icon. This is also unique. I wouldn't use it as a logo, but it gives you an idea of how a texture can look like. So I just did a couple of those generations. This is also cool, for example. And I gathered a visual list of my top ones that I liked a lot. I really like this effect. It wouldn't be suitable for a corporate logo that would go to the web, but as a visual effect, I think it fits the brand nicely. I love the fact that this is super sharp and it's inside a hexagon, and this point aligns with the bottom one in the hexagon. So it's a nice logo. It's probably looks like something that exists already. So this is a unique version of a logo. And as you can see, the more I zoom out, V is still kind of prominent, but we can definitely experiment with this more on Photoshop, for example. I like this one as well, which is more abstract and unique and kind of looks like a V, but not really. And I can see this in a plug charger kind of product for sure. Again, this nice texture with the polka dots that I like a lot. The magazine kind of print effect, which I love. I love this also, the same texture that also uses shades of our color as well in a way. So these are all visual feedback mostly. So my plan here is to dedicate probably 1 hour in Illustrator in order to bring this logo to life. It's probably gonna be a mix of either putting a V inside a hexagon or trying to create a unique V-shaped logo. This one is also cool to explore. So it's probably going to be a mix of this, something like this probably. We'll see. So as you understand, this process is more of a manual classic process, but generally we're still under 24 hours in this process. So imagine that you had to, let's say, finish a product or a branding presentation in a week. You already have most of it done. It's only a logo that you have to take care of, which, to be honest, it's more ethical to do it manually and get inspired instead of just pasting a Midjourney generation. So again, logo design is purely based on how you want to work when it comes to logos. I usually follow this method nowadays because it gives a very nice starting ground to start crafting and experimenting with logo ideas. So in my head, since it's an example, it's probably going to take me an hour to have a fully nicely done vector logo that can go well with our font. And then we can just feed this inside our website. And that's going to be a huge step done to our whole process. After that, we just need to build the brand identity kit, which I feel like it can be done with Lovable as well. And then a couple of refinements in Figma, and we're good to go. So I'll just spend a couple of moments in Illustrator. I'll just probably grab a few recordings of me working on it. And yeah, see you soon after the logo design. As you can see, we're back. And here on Figma, I basically laid out 6 drafts of potential logos that we can use. These are basically a mix of Midjourney and ChatGPT conversations. And then I just drop everything inside an Illustrator file. As you can see here, these are the original images. And then I just use an image trace option. In our case, black and white logo works best. Then I hit on expand. And then I basically just clean up the vector that I generated using the Shape Builder tool. If you're familiar with Illustrator, you probably understand what's going on here. So you basically clean up a bit, just have a vague idea of how the logo can look like. And here I have 6 options. My personal favorites, I would say that are logos that are like number 4, number 5, probably 6. It looks like an ancient totem, but I get the idea of like a more nature-inspired logo. We still have the V-shaped, have some sort of diamond in the middle that can resemble something like energy. So it kind of looks cool. This is no way that I would use it, but it looks fun. It might be appealing to somebody else. This is cool, but it's probably already a logo that exists, I would probably say. And this is fun, but it gets to more like something that I would see in a game. Still a good option though. So I'll just grab a screenshot of it and I'll get ChatGPT's opinion. As you can see, I was experimenting a bit with mostly how can a letter V would look like or how a more eco-friendly option would look like. But I don't know, it feels kind of lame. And I feel like this icon has been used somewhere. So I don't want to just plainly copy something. So I'm just going to drop our drafts that basically came after a few generations here on Midjourney. As you can see, it was a very nitpicky generation, the ones that I chose. As you can see, there are many more that are cool looking. This one is cool as well in terms of shape, but they feel like very standard V letter symbols that are probably used. So based on those 6 logos drafts, which one would you choose for Verdant based on our branding brief and current brand identity / design aesthetic? Let's see what logos our friend here, ChatGPT, would like. Number 1, texture feels slightly dated. Okay, yeah, it believes that these are final logos. Clearance geometry, great proportions, uniqueness through pattern, strong symbol weight. Number 4, yeah, this is maybe the cleanest one. Strong symbol weight, grain integration of eco and tech via framing, balance, modern, scalable, unique structure and concept. 5 feels like a bit too military. I get it, but if I clean this up in Illustrator, I feel like I can play better with the negative space in certain areas, and I can make it look a bit more techy and not that military, I guess. So I'm going to keep this for sure and number 4 as contenders. And number 6 have a very strong silhouette, a very strong brand mark potential, and a very unique silhouette, but it's too abstract and slightly chaotic at small sizes. I cannot see the chaos at small sizes, but this is definitely a fixable icon. So from this top 3, I would probably choose to spend more time building, I would say, the middle one, just because this one feels like a good option number two, to be honest, because it's almost a complete logo. So I would say that this is option two that we have, just in case that we are not able to basically improve this. So my goal now is to just make this more aligned with the brand's aesthetic. And this is probably going to be our logo mark. So I'm going to be back. I'll just probably drop this in Illustrator and just start cleaning up areas, make it more evenly spaced out, symmetrical, etc., etc. So I'll probably be back in a few minutes where I can have something that's of higher quality, basically. And we can always have option number two ready with a very clean, simple here that we can also clean up, make sure that the dimensions are more square and one by one, etc., etc. So I'll be back in a few, but this basically took me about an hour or so of combined work to just basically keep on generating images, make sure that I'm using the correct Midjourney version, turning personalization on and off, using different style weights and styles. And you really get some cool ideas that you can work with. And I'm honestly very satisfied with top three. So without further ado, I'll dive deeper into this, fix a couple of things. And I basically spent about 45 minutes, I would say, finalizing those two options of the logo that we can use. Honestly, I tried to basically simplify this quote unquote military logo and make it more clean, tech, sharp, I would say. And I basically finalized it and it looks like that. It's basically a V-shaped logo inside the square. And you can also see traces of like E for Verdant. I think it's a cool logo. It encapsulates what we need to achieve, which is to basically promote some sort of charger, quote unquote, plug. So it has a techie feeling that we like and it would look cool on a product. But also I kind of like the option number two as well. So I'll probably just keep it as an alternative. Let's say in an actual scenario, you probably keep 2 or 3 options for a logo. So it's good that we actually have a presentable logo ready to go for our first draft. So with the logo done, what we now need to do is go back to Lovable. And since we now have, let's go back to Lovable. Since we now have a website and we also have a components page, we can easily ask Lovable to also create a page that is related to a design system so that we can also have some sort of a foundation in order to transfer everything that you see here on Figma and basically spend probably another hour or so finalizing and polishing the brand kit. And we are actually, after that, we're basically good to go. So I'm guessing that it's going to take a few conversations here in Lovable and it's going to produce a pretty cool result, just like it did with components. We basically used, I think, 2 prompts here and we got an actual full-on button system for 2 themes. So it's pretty legendary. So let's go back here and say, create a new page, secondary one, that includes all the basic foundational pieces of a design system. Let's say typography that we also have as well, right? Or am I tripping? Did we have typography here? Yeah, we did. So basically typography, which we already have, move it to the new page. Color schemes, the full palette we use for light and dark theme with values from 50 to 900 when it comes to shades. And also typography color schemes. When it comes to logos, I will just add it afterwards. So we don't need to play around with that. Anything else that you deem reasonable to be added? And I'm only adding in that in order to go here and improve the prompt above, just to see what other options we have. I don't want to confuse Lovable and start adding stuff like grid systems and all that because it usually messes it up. Yeah, spacing and sizing scale. Elevation and shadows is cool, but it's still a step further. Border radius and shapes, grid layouts. I would honestly keep it simpler and stick to typography and color system, and then the logo on top. Do's and don'ts about the logo will also be there. I think we're good. I think we're good for now. Let's add this and probably also add border radius. We could. Let's stick to the simple ones for now because we're gonna add the logo and it's also the first draft in a way. So let's hit that and give it a couple of seconds and I'll be back. Now that we have a very cool result by just one prompt, as you can see, our components page now got updated and we have a cleaner typography system showcase. We also have a better color system. Of course, it would be nice to see the shades of our terracotta color as well, but this is something that we can add manually. Semantic colors, our button design system, which looks amazing, a couple of cards, a more modular component, and everything is also applicable to our white theme as well. So now, without further ado, we'll go straight to basically transferring this whole website into Figma. And we're going to use a tool called HTML to Design to do that. It's basically a Chrome plugin and also a Figma plugin. And it captures the current page that you are displaying. I'm going to use a 1440 pixel width. And I'm just going to click capture. As you can see, it's basically like taking a screenshot of the website. I'm capturing the dark mode for now in all of its pages. You can capture any mode that you like. In our case, whoops, wrong tool. In our case, I will do all of the pages for all of the themes, and I will just gonna place them once I'm done to Figma, and I'll just show you that. So now that we are back on our Figma, as you can see, I created a bunch of mockup pages here just to exist in order to have a visual layout on what needs to be done. So in our case, we have a web UI because we created the UI with Lovable. We have components. We do not have certain applications for social media and stuff, but this is something that you can explore later in your brand design and your brand kit. Same with presentation, even though we have a design system, so we can easily craft a style of presentations. So now let's go back to our drafts page because I just want to drop the website that we just captured with our tool. As you can see, I'm opening it up from the plugins tab here, and I'm just gonna drop those files that I got from the capture. Let me go to my account where this is on the pro version, but this is a nice chance to let you know that this is also a paid tool, but I think you have a couple of free imports each month. So generally, I don't think that you really need to pay for it. If you are very confident in your skills, you can just grab 2 screenshots of this and rebuild this on Figma, or you can just grab 1 screenshot of this and use its editable components to rebuild the other pages. So I'm just going to do a bit of a faster work here and capture all of the pages and use them, but it's not really necessary to pay for it, at least immediately. Now, when I drop the files that we have a pro plan, you can see that a couple of settings pop up. In our case, it would be nice to use auto layout at least as much as possible. And also create a local style variables would be nice, but I'm going to use another tool to achieve that for some better effects. In the components page, if you have the pro plan, it would be nice to turn this on in order to have the hover stage ready to go as well, which is a huge plus. The high-res images is not something that we need. Hyperlinks also. And let's just hit go. As you can see, the first screen popped up immediately. Super cool. Let's do the same with the rest of the screens. For some reason, I got the same one. It's okay. Here's the one in the light mode. And I guess the components page are going to pop up now. Yep. As you can see, each page generates their own components, which is okay, but we will probably stick to the page that has the most amount of info. In our case, kind of feels like this is good for buttons, probably. Yeah, I think I will stick to these two. It's probably, yeah, the light and dark, I guess. Kind of. These cards also look good. So I will probably just get rid of these. Again, this is just a very, very draft phase, but as you can see, you have a plethora of components already that you can experiment with. Yeah, these are the light and dark buttons, I guess. Yeah, it's very evident. That's awesome. So we have a list of components here. Of course, they are not instances, as you can see. Oh, they are. Oh, that's nice. I wasn't aware of it. That's cool. That's cool that they are instances. Let's ungroup those. Ungroup them, please. Amazing. Let's remove this one. And let's bring this one here. In this generation, the only thing that got messed up was really this hero image and nothing else. So let's bring it back to 1440. Let's remove this weird cursor icon. Let's do the same thing here. And now we have how much is the weight? The weight is 900. Awesome. And let's, amazing. So as you can see, we now have the light and dark version for our website. And so what we can do now, if this was an actual project that should have been shipped, you can literally take another, I don't know, an hour possibly, and start filling out all of these pages that you would need in order to share your first brand kit to a client. So in our case, what we can do is basically just start grabbing stuff like the typography system, for example, and placing it in visual identity and stuff. So I can come back in a few minutes, or let me think about this because I'm actually doing it kind of live. I don't have an actual plan. I can probably stop the video here and just start swapping our current logo and basically also adding some sort of page here for the logo. And this should be good to go. In a real scenario, I will probably just start filling out all of this in a clean way, in a cohesive way. So if this is something that interests you, an actual full process of how you can actually polish this after dropping this to Figma, I can also do that. But this workflow, as you can see, works perfectly fine if you are on a very tight, let's say, deadline and you want to come up quickly with things like typography, color systems, and an overall UI that feels good, it feels modern, and it's here. And you also have the tools to quickly drop this into Figma in a fully editable way so you can do changes quickly. So it's very powerful and I really love it. So I will just point out a couple of things that I would do. When it comes to colors, I would probably get this terracotta color and start adding, let me bring this to outside. I will just start adding the actual levels of it as a color. I really love this plugin, Color Levels Generator. So I'll just grab the ID, the hex code. I will drop it here. I will name it terracotta. And I will just hit on Save Styles. And after that, I'll just grab this same window, which looks nice. The contrast ratios will probably be different, but it's irrelevant. You can just simply remove this. That's the power of being able to move this directly to Figma, basically. So we have our terracotta 500, and we can start basically adding all of the values of our main color, terracotta 50. You can start changing the hex code here as well, as you can see. You can start doing this for your main color, your secondary colors, etc., etc. So you basically start building your design system in a more ideal and fast pace than you having to figure this all by yourself and doing more manual work. So I'm very excited to keep on using it, actually. It feels very nice. And yeah, you basically just start building your system, same as it was inside here. So let's say that you basically drop this here, and this is your shades and levels of your primary color, etc., etc. And you do the same thing with your logo. Let's say that this is our logo for now. We're gonna drop it here. This is a way smaller. Whoops! I keep on clicking random same shortcut. That's funny. The shortcut that we use to replace stuff here is the same as stopping and resuming the video, the recording, which is funny. So I will just manually bring this here. I'll probably keep it at around 168, I guess. And I will bring this to 40 just to clean up the height a bit. And I will remove this one. Yep, looks fun. Let me bring those into one auto layout, and let's grab those and bring them closer to each other. And basically, this is 1280. Okay, cool. 1280. Amazing. And I'm gonna grab the same navbar here and introduce. This is such an annoying shortcut. I'm just gonna grab this and drop this here and remove this one. And I'm gonna do the same for our white theme. I'll probably just drop this here. Feels way easier. Yep. And let's copy the properties, and it should be faster in a way. Yeah, not at all. This shortcut was killing me with Loom, so I had to pause the video. So what I basically did was I swapped the logo that we built, and seeing it on the actual UI, I think it looks awesome. I think it really fits the purpose of the brand. And also what I love about it is that, I don't know, it just suits very well every theme, even in the light theme. It really stands out perfectly. It's not a foreign object compared to everything else. I'm curious to see if it looks good with a terracotta shade, with a maybe darker one. Yep, this is even nice as well. Inherited a couple of colors from our main brand. So yeah, I think it's a nice, basically one-shot UI of something you can showcase. Of course, you can start adding, let's say, a product image here. You can generate, if the product was a plug, in our case, a couple of plugs, place them here in a very nice, unique way, add the logo in a certain area, or a couple of cool imageries here. Of course, better or real testimonials here, better imagery here. But everything is basically, in terms of systems, very laid out and very ready to go. Whoops, we're having a couple of issues here. Oh, it's okay. I get what happened. But yeah, I'm honestly very satisfied with it. I would easily use this as a foundation to build an actual brand called Verdant. So with that in mind, let's visit our presentation to see if we can do everything else. Yep. Step 4 was to transfer to Figma, convert HTML to a Figma, create components, refine your designs. When it comes to logo design, as I mentioned, I showcased the whole process I followed, basically a back and forth between Midjourney and ChatGPT, and collecting image generations and real life actual inspo to basically drop everything then on Illustrator and use your own unique flow to create a unique logo. The final polish with empty imagery in classic design fashion is what I was talking about right now. If you actually want to invest time and build this Figma file, you can do so basically using the UI that you generated from Lovable. And as I mentioned, I can also create a video that is based upon that solely. And after that is all about organizing your Figma file, as I said. Summary, logo usage, color palette and typography, website mockups, social media templates. So what I can show before I close this video is me asking Lovable to also include a logo showcase before the typography system, just to also show you how easy it would be to use Lovable again to create a template and then drop your actual creation inside. So let's create a simple logo showcase that will go above typography system in the components page. Let's improve this prompt a bit. Improve the above prompts. Whoop. We got ourselves back to an expired temporary chat. That's okay. This is awesome. Let's bring this back to Lovable. Let's design a clean and simple logo showcase section to be placed above the typography system on the components page. It should highlight different logo variations, which is exactly what we need. And let's hope that it's going to do a good job. I will just transfer this single page, swap the logo quickly on Figma just to show you how easy it is to keep on iterating over it, transferring stuff to Figma and playing with your designs, basically. I find it super fun, honestly. As you can see, Lovable generated a very, very simple logo showcase system. I want to see if it looks equally well on dark modes. Yeah, it's pretty good. It's there. So as you understand, you can easily do the same process as we followed before. Grab this page, add this with our plugin tool, Figma to HTML, swap the dummy logo that it has with the logo that you created, and boom, you also have the case, iterate upon, add stuff, etc., etc. If you're a designer that wants to utilize AI to get paid and noticed more, then click the link in the description below and book a discovery call with me. I'm currently building workflows and testing tools in order to further enhance the branding process. So hearing from you, your ideas, your pain points, or anything else can really help me out produce the perfect videos, courses, and resources for you guys. My ultimate goal is to establish a private community where I will lay out all of the greatest workflows to achieve amazing brand results in just days, not months, not years. So please, if you are serious about your design practice and you want to take it to the next level utilizing AI, book a call by clicking the link in the description below. Thank you so much.